Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall, where bad comics burn. I've already gone over how Marvel has been willing to slap their name on any toy merchandising license they can get their hands on, but did you know that they produced a comic in collaboration with the NFL? Yes, the Marvel machine was working overtime with this one. Reportedly, the writer, Fabian Nicieza, only did the book because he got free NFL tickets for it. He also still gets a lot of flack for doing it. However, dumb as this book is, I'm not going to insult him or the people involved with this one. This book was doomed from the start, even if Alan Moore or Neil Gaiman had been writing it. So let's dig into NFL Superpro #1. This cover's certainly better than the usual garbage, but not by much. Yeah, we get this action shot of Superpro charging through criminals in Foot Clan gear, but why is he scowling like that? Is he constipated? Maybe he just realizes how dumb his costume looks. Oh, and hey, it's a collector's item! Oh sure, collector's item, but no trading card featuring Mr. T. What a ripoff. Besides for the static blue background, Spider-Man is also featured here, since he'll be guest starring to boost sales of the book. To be in a classic team-up with this great hero. Speaking of, some fans have pointed out to me that I make too many jokes about One More Day and Spider-Man's deal with the devil, and you know, maybe they're right. As such, I've reconfigured the continuity alarm so that anytime I mention One More Day, it'll give me an intense electric shock. Continuity alarm!
Working.
Code word, Kajida.
Program ready.
So now, anytime I mention One More Day, that happens!
He went from sacking quarterbacks to tackling crime. See, because he's a football player and he, tackles people. We open to the crosshairs of an assassin's gun. Nighttime in Los Angeles. The hookers are a little less trampy. John Murtaugh is a financial wizard. He can consistently multiply 2 times 2 and come up with 10.
His secretary keeps insisting that he get a calculator.
Unfortunately, he's performing his arithmetic genius for an underworld gambling organization, and he's been caught. Now, to save his own skin, John's going to turn state's evidence against his employers. I think the bigger story here would be the fact that Ronald Reagan is apparently the doorman. So, as per tradition in a lot of comics, the top of the opening page is a brief paragraph describing the premise of the character. Of course, it's tiny and hard to read, almost like it was an afterthought, but hey, kudos for trying to put it in at all. Phil Grayfield's career as a pro football player ended soon after it began due to injuries.
We all told him that elephant wasn't a mascot, but then he kept on mocking it and mocking it.
Now, as the result of a fantastic accident, mind you, not a horrible one, he has a new career as a superpowered hero who uses his amazing abilities to fight crime and defend the sport he loves from those forces that would seek to corrupt it. For Phil has become NFL Superpro!
Football is the most holy of activities and needs its own superhero to defend it.
Anyway, despite several good shot opportunities, the assassin doesn't take any of them. Superpro is then suddenly standing in the line of fire. The would-be assassin screams Superpro's name in horror. Frankly, I would be too, considering how apparently despite wearing heavy and colorful armor, he's as stealthy as a ninja. It's nice to be recognized by your fans, isn't it? How about a personal autograph?
Sorry, I'm illiterate, so this injury will have to do.
Now let's talk. Tim Pressman is an offensive tackle for the LA Raiders who's accused of having gambling ties to your boss, Sanzionaire. John Murtaugh is the only one who can prove Pressman is innocent. As you can tell from my getup, I have more than a passing interest in clearing Pressman's name.
If this wasn't about a football player, though, I'd be more than happy to let you shoot him.
A shot rings out, catching Superpro's attention. Looking down, he sees that Murtaugh has been shot.
If only I hadn't spent 5 minutes giving exposition to that assassin, instead of actually defending the guy!
The valet? I guess Murtaugh gave lousy tips. He knocks away the assassin and leaps off the building to try to catch the valet, grabbing hold of... I have no idea what he grabs onto. It looks like he took the inking lines of the panel and just pulled them down. Anyway, he tries to leap onto the valet's car. Of course, if he hits the brakes, I'm in trouble.
Brakes! My only weakness!
Of course, maintaining balance on the car is another matter. Whoa, how do Daredevil and Spider-Man do this kind of thing every day? Well, for one thing, they're not wearing huge-ass shoulder pads and a bulky football uniform. Who the are you? Get the off of the car! Wow, are we sure this isn't New York? What a mouth on this guy! I'm gonna have to wash it out with a fist! Okay, I admit that was actually kind of funny. But then the valet pulls a gun out and shoots at Superpro through the windshield.
No, you idiot! The insurance won't cover that!
Somehow, Superpro teleports around behind the car, now letting it speed away. Nearby, Spider-Man is taking pictures of Superpro, trying to catch up to the car like an idiot. Not bad. This Superpro is as good as the newspapers have said. Good, the guy he was protecting got killed and the killer got away! Unfortunately, I don't think he can run fast enough to catch that car. Maybe I should lend a hand. After all, they call me the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, no matter which neighborhood I'm in.
I talk to myself a lot.
One webline swing on to get me close enough to launch a patented spider tracer, which means I can track the car down no matter where it ends up.
I mean, I'm entirely alone right now, and I've been doing this for years, but now all of a sudden I'm talking about this stuff. Jeez, if only I had a wife I could talk to about this.
Superpro scolds himself for screwing up and calls a guy named Ken to pick him up. And what is Superpro's method of escape from the scene? A green van that he just hops into with several people watching. Yeah, this isn't conspicuous or anything. Of course, Spider-Man gets pictures of it, meaning that any idiot with a camera could have gotten the license number for the van or pictures of the guy driving it. Spider-Man thinks to himself about how it's good that Superpro has a partner. Reminds me of how tough things were for me before I had my wife, Mary Jane, to confide in.
And it's a good thing I have a wife I can tell this to, because it'd certainly suck if the devil were to undo it all and continuity would be all fucked. Ah! It slipped! I'm sorry!
Ken tries to cheer up Phil. Of course, really the scene is just more plot dumping out for anyone who didn't read the introductory text. So, more or less, Phil knew the guy who was accused of gambling, thinks he's a straight arrow, and that he's only been seen near the gangster Marco Senzionaire. There's also apparently a tape that clears the player's name that Murtaugh was in possession of. Phil calls his girlfriend named Jane Dixon, who's parading around in her lingerie while carrying milk and cookies. Yeah. He asks Jane for help since he's found nothing to prove his innocence so far.
Ah, nothing like objective reporting, folks.
And now we get a page explaining Superpro's full backstory. After his injuries got him out of the game, he became a sports reporter and interviewed a reclusive sports collector who had developed an experimental football uniform.
Yeah, I mean, how many other football uniforms allow you to be stealthy on the field?
Some thugs broke into his place and made off with the collector's other merchandise, but apparently left the pristine football uniform there, also setting fire to the place. What happened to the collector? Who knows and who cares, because a unique, once-in-a-lifetime chemical combination gave Phil enhanced strength and endurance, so he just took the Superpro uniform and decided to become a superhero. If I was going to be a hero, I'd have to do more than fight crime. I'd have to perform at halftime shows. I'd try to help people before they got into trouble. Yeah, like your pal who's in trouble already for the gambling accusations. Smooth work there, Superpro. And you know, when exactly did you get permission from the NFL to use their logo on your costume?
Today, the hero known as Superpro was fined $20 million for copyright infringement.
We cut away to Sanzionaire's mansion, where the foul-mouthed assassin reports success in retrieving the tape. In his right breast pocket, just like you said. For crying out loud, are you the angry video game nerd or something? You don't have to swear in every other sentence. The tape was the only thing keeping Murtaugh alive. I knew he wouldn't allow it to leave his person. And now I'll just hang on to it instead of destroying it like anyone with half a brain would do. Guy in a f***ing costume. One of those kind. Think he calls himself Superpro. One of those kind of what? Corporate tie-ins that no one really cares about? He took out the secondary shooter. Almost nailed me.
If by almost you mean he came nowhere close to stopping you.
Sanzionaire seems deeply disturbed by this revelation. My God, all my operations are being threatened by sports superheroes. Next it'll be Giant Charles Barkley they send after me. He sends off the cursing assassin to kill the player accused of gambling. Kent, please go to the library. Find out everything you can about this so-called Superpro.
Yes, my evil criminal library will have lots of information about obscure football-playing superheroes who only just appeared.